So, story time. Back November 13th, I retired from law enforcement. And I knew that as I was coming close to retirement, I was going to need another vehicle. So I started looking around and I found this pretty nice Jeep. I mean, it's not new. It's got some miles on it. But it was new to me. So I bought it from Carvana. And I was super excited. I was like, yeah, I'll finally get another Jeep. I've had 2 other Jeeps before this one. And Carvana delivered it to the house. I kind of looked it over. Everything looked good. I mean, there's little, stuff wrong with it. But I took it to a friend of mine's shop who I trust. And he looked it over and he said, Chico, you got some gasket leaks, oil leaks. And I thought to myself, I could just call Carvana and tell them to come pick it up, or I can just go ahead and get the stuff fixed, but it should be under warranty anyway because I just got the vehicle. So I went ahead and I said, this stuff leaks anyway. It's not like a major repair. It's going to be gasket replacements and that kind of stuff. So I contacted the warranty company, and they were like, right away, sure, yes, no problem. We'll get it fixed right away. No issues. So I went by my local dealership.
In half a mile, keep left to continue on US 1 South Main Street.
So I went by my local dealership to get repairs done, and they were pretty busy. This is like right before Thanksgiving, and I was going to be out of a vehicle for a while, and we were down to one vehicle, and it just wasn't really an option. I'm doing pet sitting and I'm doing food truck and different stuff like that, and it just wasn't an option for us to be down to one vehicle, especially me and my wife. So I contacted the Jeep dealership in Sumter, spoke to a guy up there and in the service department, and he was like, yeah, no problem, bring it up, we'll have it to you in about 3 days, it shouldn't be a big deal. I said, okay. So I drove it down to Sumter.
Keep left to continue on US 1 South.
I took it down to Sumter, dropped it off. I was super excited. Day 1 went by, nothing. 2 and 3, nothing. 4 and 5, nothing. After a while, I started getting a little worried, and I ain't heard nothing back yet. So I contacted the Jeep dealership to get a status update. And they started giving me excuses and reasons, and the first one was, it's getting close to the holidays, and we just may not have it in time. And I understand. I mean, I as a business owner and previously worked in law enforcement, I know that things can happen, and people get sick. And then I think one time I called, they said the guy was sick, and I was like, okay. So I just kept waiting. So dropped it off in November, picked it up in like January. If that kind of tells you anything. And I picked it up in January after it being there for almost 3 months.
For 5 miles.
And something told me, something just wasn't right. It just, I guess my law enforcement instinct and just, I always tell folks, listen to your gut. Your gut half the time is correct. So I took it to my friend, and who's an amazing mechanic, awesome guy. I wish he would have done the work, but the warranty company would only let me use a dealership. And he looked it over and he was like, Chico, I got some bad news. I said, it doesn't look like they did any of the work. Which the original issues was gasket leaks and then an axle boot. The axle boot had been repaired, but the gasket leaks, he said, all they did was clean it, and it looks like they applied some silicone. Never actually took the engine apart, never replaced any of the gaskets. They just literally washed it, used some silicone to seal up the gaps so it would stop leaking, and just gave you back the car after about 3 months. So at this point, I'm like, what in the world? With Jeep, once you get to your dealership, there's nobody else you can go above. I mean, you can take it to a Stellantis, I guess, corporate, but the dealership is supposed to be the people that you go to. Like that's why it costs so much money. It's you take it to the dealership, and they're the ones that you really can't go any higher than a dealership. So I was shocked. I was shocked. I couldn't believe it. I said, well, I contacted my warranty company, and they were like, no, you got to take it to another deal. Now, first they told me I need to take it back to the original dealership, and I was like, there's no way I'm going to take this vehicle back to the original dealership. And they lied to me once. They gave me paperwork saying they made all these repairs. I want to say it was close to like $3,000 to $4,000. I don't have the exact dollar amount in my head right now. So, but they're telling me they did all these repairs, and you want me to take it back to the people that lied to me? So I said, no, that's not an option. So then they came back and I said, okay, take it to your hometown dealership, which is where I should have taken it to start with. But lessons learned. So I took it to my dealership. They looked it over and they were like, your buddy's correct. The engine was never taken apart. It was the original stuff on it. There was no, I guess, evidence to show that the gaskets had ever been changed. And so I contacted the warranty company, and they were like, okay, have it fixed there, and we will reach out to the other dealership and get our money back. Cool. Well, everything up to this point, I was kind of like, So then I reached out. So then the dealership reached the hometown dealership, which it's actually Lugoff dealership. Amazing people. They reached out to me and they were like, okay, well, it looks like they misdiagnosed the problem. It's the oil cooler, which is a common thing with these Jeeps. And I was thinking to myself, okay. So then they said that they did some tests and they proved that the problem that Sumter had diagnosed wasn't even the correct problem, that it was the oil cooler. So they fixed it. And the more I thought about it, so most likely what has taken place, and I'm not a mechanic, just speculating here, is that when they sealed up all these other spots with silicone, the Lugoff dealership, probably rightfully so, wasn't able to diagnose the existing problem because of the tampering with the silicone. So now, the Lugoff dealership did an amazing job. They fixed the oil leak, the oil cooler, but now I'm left to wonder, when is that silicone going to give out? When am I going to have engine leaks again or oil leaks again when the silicone finally wears out? That the Sumter dealership decided that's what they wanted to do. So I reached out to the South Carolina Consumer Affairs office, filed a complaint with them, and I didn't hear nothing for about a week or two. I think it was like finally after the third, fourth week, they finally reached out. And they were like, yeah, we sent them a letter, and we sent Sumter a letter, and they responded, and they pretty much said, we did the work, proved that we didn't, peace out. And then the Consumer Affairs in South Carolina investigator, I don't know what in the world they do for a living, because I was a detective for a while. I've been in law enforcement my whole career. When you have the name investigator, there's something behind that. But he pretty much said, all we can do is send them a letter, and if they tell us to pretty much go fly a kite, then that's it. We're done. It's kind of an administrative deal. So I'm left now wondering what to do next. It's pretty sad that I donated. Well, I didn't donate. I worked providing community service for 25 plus years. Started out I was 18, finally retired when I was 47. My whole time I've been in community service, and it's frustrating. It's very frustrating that it doesn't seem to be an outlet. I got an attorney, and he's pretty much telling me not quite sure what to do with that. So I want for y'all to tell me what you think. I'm interested in finding out what you think. It's amazing that a Sumter Jeep dealership to be exact, can just do that and kind of walk away with it. I haven't done anything wrong. I've been more than courteous. I've never been rude to them. I was just extremely disappointed in their service, and I got paperwork to prove that they pretty much told me they did the repair, and when I took it to the Lugoff dealership, they were like, nah, that repair wasn't done. So I got proof, paperwork from them, and as far as I know, those gaskets haven't been changed other than the oil cooler. So
turn right on
I'm not sure.
Road. State
But
Road S28 to 700.
I'd like to hear what everybody thinks and get your opinion on that. And I don't normally put my stuff out there like that, but I don't know. I'm extremely frustrated, and I want other people out there to know that you have to get your stuff checked out. Just because the dealership tells you, yeah, we did the work, they might not have. Now, I can tell you this, the Lugoff dealership has never done me wrong. They've always been the up and up. But as you can see, the Sumter dealership, they just pretty much do what they want as far as my case is concerned. Kept my car for 3 months and gave it back to me. The engine had been, I guess, degreased or cleaned. A little bit of silicone residue, and called it a day. So let me know what you think.